Hello, everybody. Oh. All right, we're going to start with a quick hypothetical. So, given this information about a hypothetical criminal, let's say you're a juror on for the trial. Someone's accused of murder, and the prosecution alleges that the defendant killed his ex-wife in a fit of rage. Eyewitnesses who corroborate a history of domestic disputes, bloodstains matching the victim found in the defendant's vehicle and home, discrepancies in their alibi, and a key piece of evidence found in the defendant's property linking him directly to the crime. Who here would vote this person guilty? Raise your hand. All right. Now close your eyes, put your hands down, and everybody close your eyes. And once again, raise your hand if you would. Knowing nobody else can see what you are going to say, raise your hand and say if you'd find this person guilty. All right. So the reason that we do this exercise is to kind of emphasize the fact that, one, your choice might have been different knowing nobody else is watching. And two, that the person we were describing actually wasn't a hypothetical person at all. It was O.J. Simpson, who was infamously acquitted of murder, despite how many of you raised your hands. Give an introduction.
Oh, so my name is Haley, and I'm a PLE major and a history minor. And then obviously this is Calvin again. And we're going to do a critique of jury systems. Context. So we looked at the history of jury of POs with philosophical justification point of view. So the first question we wanted to answer was, what is a peer today? And a peer is very generalized today. The age requirement is you have to be 18 years or older. You have to be a non-felon citizen of the United States and reside within the area the trial is taking place in. And you're randomly selected, of course. And also you must be capable of understanding the proceedings and be able to basically mentally comprehend the evidence and have the ability to set aside biases and things like that. And the role of a jury is basically three main things: is decision-making, community representation, and fairness in partition. And these are essential to ensure that jurors can fulfill these duties effectively and continue to uphold a fair and impartial justice system. So these are the justifications of peers from a philosophical standpoint and also from a legal standpoint. As you can see, they very much go together, such as democratic principles and democracy and citizen participants, and such as also like protection against overbearing governments and things like that. They very much intertwine with each other. Wait. Oh, here we go. So this is the history of the jury system, and this is how we, all this together is how we got to our jury system today in the United States. So as we know, it started in Roman law and with the Greeks, and then turned into the medieval Europe, which we think of lords and things like that, who would fulfill justice, and also Christian theology, common law, tradition, which is where we think of the legal, the English legal system, which is America was originally based on our legal system. And then we get to the Enlightenment area, which kind of took the English legal system and expanded on it with some ideas such as utilitarianism, social contract theory, theories of natural rights, and other philosophers like that are very well known in social and political philosophy fields. And then finally, kind of like the last era is the American Revolution. And this is where we get the Sixth Amendment that gives all of us, if we ever get charged by the state, we have a right to an attorney. And then also the Seventh Amendment preserves your right to a jury trial in a civil case. So if you want to request one, you have the option to. So this is what the all common justifications are today of the jury system, basically based on four principles, which is democratic principles, community representation, fairness, fairness and impartiality, and protection against an overbearing government. And we think of these from philosophers such as John Rawls and Robert Nozick, who talk about justice as fairness in the entitlement theory. And also that these principles shape our communities, such as, the idea of allowing citizens to participate directly in the administration of justice and being able to judge our community and be involved with each other. And also peers are better able to understand and relate to certain circumstances that a judge or something may not be able to. And then this is the selection process. I'll go pretty fast, but basically it's pretty simple. The pool, and then you get that jury summons in the mail that everyone wants to probably ignore. We go through raw deal, which is a process when lawyers are able to ask potential juries questions, see if they would see if they would want to pick them, strike them, and then that's where it comes and causes. This is a very contentious point in the process, basically where attorneys can use powers to dismiss a potential juror, or basically like argue that they don't want the juror for some reason. It could be such as a reason, such as, a bias reasons. They may not think that they would side with their client or something like that. And then once you are selected as a jury member, of course, you are sworn in, and you agree to represent the justice system completely impartially, confidentially, and judge just based off the information as provided in the trial.
Okay, so a lot of the things that Haley just touched on are kind of the most ideal traits of a juror. Keeping those things across time. We've had a lot of philosophical principles that apply to juries across different nations, different societies, countries, but it doesn't always end up leading to fairness. And so we have listed here a couple of barriers to objectivity during trials that we thought were the most important. So these are split into two parts: barriers during trial and barriers during deliberation. So during trials, we tend to think that individual jurors, particularly lay people, non-academics, non-scientists, have difficulty interpreting different kinds of evidence. And there's a lot of psychological research into this. And the justice system doesn't do enough to increase accessibility to understanding. And also, jurors tend to struggle individually with complex cognitive tasks involved in piecing together evidence. Let's say that lawyers do a good job kind of making the evidence contradict each other, even if one side paints the story a very different way, and then you have these contradicting pieces of evidence. It's hard to weave it all together. And then after the trial, during deliberation, there's issues of group dynamics, groupthink, conformity, social influence, as well as the fact that certain jurors have personality traits and individual differences that make them more influential than others. And so, for the sake of time, I won't go into it, and I'll just put this up here to leave you with. But these are some of the just a few of the suggestions we had for things that could be done to improve objectivity. This would be to encouraging civic interest in young people, and for sciences that, like forensics, where people can learn from a young age to understand the elements of forensic evidence they might encounter at trial if they are jurors. Truth seeking, so emphasize to attorneys who sometimes try to complicate things for the sake of winning, and emphasize to jurors their role as triers of fact. And also written information. Some jurors may struggle to retain oral information, and that's pretty much all you're hearing at trial. So more accessibility to that information in a written form for people that are geared towards that. And then processing, we weren't sure exactly how this works, but at the end of the trial, we think jurors should have more time, maybe 24 hours or 12 hours, to sit with the information they heard and deliberate on their own, and then come together in a group and feel more confident about their thoughts.
So I guess it's, as someone who's been to jury duty multiple times, I've seen my fellow juror, Oh, yeah, I've seen my fellow jurors like not care at all about the trial that we're on. And I feel like I'm in the group of people who's like, okay, we got to figure this out and get this done. And I remember last time I was in, one of the guys took a nap while we were deliberating. And so I think about like the faulty side of jury duty is that a lot of people don't want to be there, but that is like I think that the democratic aspect is important. Like that's like I think all in all, it's a good idea, but in practice. So what do you think would be the best way to like solve this issue and to reach out and get people more excited about it or like more interested in doing it well?
So one of the big things that me and Calvin talked about when thinking about solutions is about childhood education and public school education and shifting it more towards civic education instead of the STEM education we have, such as not instead, but together balance it. Yeah, sorry, balance it out. But include that because we do feel like there is kind of like that prejudice in younger people. They're unsure about the democratic process. And like we said, many people aren't even aware of what to do at a jury trial until they show up to it. So that can be very hard for them to comprehend things really, really fast. So we definitely recommend education starting from a younger age up and things like that.
And might I also add, just like that education includes emphasizing the importance of the jury process, like we said here, because if you emphasize to young people at a young age, like this, because everyone grows up hearing, oh, I have jury duty, I don't want to go to that. If that narrative was shifted to be like, I'm excited to go and do my part to participate in like justice being served and fairness being like, because if I were on trial, I would want that. So it's kind of like Haley was saying to get people interested in civic engagement, I think, too, at a young age, and the importance of that.
Thank you. I am the only person I know who wants to do jury duty and has never been selected. Never been selected. I've never even, I go like every year and I've never gotten in the room.